right, our awesome intro song. This is Shaking Hands with Strangers, Episode 3, Gratitude. This is Jenny Spark, and if I know you and I've been talking to you, you know that I had a plan for today, and that plan has failed. And with me to help cope and understand and deal with the situation at hand, and you've been such an awesome help in every way. I accidentally didn't even introduce you in Episode 2, I believe.
It's all good.
It's all good. Some kind of wizard, Skow, my very best friend here.
Hello,
and
everybody.
I am grateful for you for so many reasons why today.
I am grateful for you, too. This is fun.
I appreciated you smiling today through the kerfuffle.
The kerfuffle. Yeah.
Yes.
Do we want to explain briefly the kerfuffle?
Yes.
Do you want to do it? Or do you want me to?
I want you to.
Well, okay. So I used to do a whole lot of sensory deprivation floating. I really enjoyed it. I've taken a couple of years off, and somehow it came up and as an option for us to do. So I re-upped my membership and was like, hey, I'll get us some floats. And I went in and booked, and the website was acting very weird. I had several instances where, as I was trying to set up an order, I would just get a weird message error without a message that was useful. And it finally went through, and I got a confirmation email, and it said we were all good to go. And so I was like, okay. And I had a few other things happen last week, so I didn't really think about it anymore. And when we got there today, it was funny, because as we were walking in, I was just kind of like, I hope nothing weird happens. And the booking got canceled. I don't know how. I'm not sure. So it was a very interesting experience, because there's the whole, we have plans, this is what we're going to do, and it falls apart.
It felt so synchronistically, perfect. Like, I had just last night gotten the information I needed to take a stab at using Streamlab OBS, and from my beautiful friend Baldini, who pulled through despite not feeling very well. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, and mentioning my show as well. Thank you so much. I am, again, very grateful to all of the unintended consequences episodes, and everything else that Baldini touches is pretty much gold. I love it. And I have a long list of people that I am just so blessed to have had in my life. Conspiracy Music Guru is going to let us use the songs, his songs, today for the episode, and I'm psyched about that. What a sweet guy. I have a weird coincidence with one of his videos where he uses a picture in, I don't want to talk about NASA, that one. Yeah. That picture is actually hung in my father's house my whole life, and I have it now. It looks like my dad, but it's a Coors Light commercial, like a painting that they put in the bars back in the day, so they were mass produced or whatever. But they got it from my dad, and he hung it in his living room forever because it looked like him. Right? I've emailed him. He's so sweet and nice and responds. We have a couple of our favorite songs today we're going to play during the break in the end.
Great ones.
Yes, and grateful to Jason for doing the intro song. Grateful for Rose has been so awesome in all of this. Jason as well. I'm hoping, I really want to get some Shoot the Moon posters printed. And so I'm trying to figure out how many we could do and what makes sense and how we can
that's
get that
a fun
done.
One to share.
So I got some pricing on that, and I'm really excited to figure out how I can support that. Thinking about just paying for some, but I got to figure out how many I can do and whatnot.
What you gonna do with the posters?
If people want to buy them, or maybe...
I'm just wondering. Yeah,
I don't know.
We're gonna spread the word, right?
Yeah.
That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
The word was spread to you.
Yep.
Through a lot of people that you're mentioning right now that I know are very important to you and to me. So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Obviously Crow. Wayne. His series, I love Wayne because sometimes when I'm really depressed and I'm just despondently upset, I'll put on Wayne. I don't know why, and it's just comforting. It's like, okay, he's gonna, give me the straight information on these documents and just read it down, and we can learn together. And It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And Nachiketa for being such a good friend. Brian Stavely for doubting that I can use Streamlabs OBS because, that's BS.
Funny.
No. I'm going to do it despite it being difficult. And Daryl Davis, you know what you've done. You're awesome. Karen B for doing Solar Return. Coffee. Shout out to you if you know who you are. I mean, I know you know who you are, but if anybody knows who she is, she's been vocal in a small community on Discord that I've known for years. And Beth Martins is also just a great source. Yeah, and obviously our last guest.
Obviously.
So do you have anything you want to say about...
Yeah, I'm not going to drop any names per
Yeah.
se.
I did. I had to.
No, it's okay. We have a different relationship. You've been much more involved, actually speaking back and forth with people. My experience is a little different, where I did a whole lot of watching and a whole lot of listening, and there's a lot of people that mean a lot of things to me. I didn't necessarily engage directly with people too much. It's just part of how I'm addressing this. But every time that I ever have, it's always been like meeting old friends. You just know. And I really appreciate that.
I haven't even really, I mean, I've messaged Karen B a couple of times probably, but it's not like I really talk to her too much. But the others, yeah, I try to have relationships. I don't know, some of them I don't waste Crow's time too much, but...
You better not. We need him.
I know.
We need him working.
I know. I try not to waste Baldini's time too much, but he's just a sweetheart to me, and I am just, again, grateful that I was able to put this together with his help, and yeah, it was about an hour he sat with me on the phone, and I just looked at some screen stuff, and you sat down here and helped me with some of the other pieces, and...
I just watched you did it. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, as far as like community goes, I appreciate all of these people, and then just everyone I have a very weird Facebook. I just kind of randomly follow people, and it's more of I just throw shit against the wall and see what sticks and what happens, and a lot of times it's just random and it's completely personal to me. There's a whole other side to it's not just about masks. Or not wearing masks. It's not about the jab. It's not even about if the earth is flat. Yeah. There's a lot of things like this. I'm like, I don't really care. I do, but I don't because it's what all of those things together mean. And to me, it's all about that personal spiritual journey.
Sorry, I have a puppy in the background and some other weird noises.
Everybody loves puppies. Yes. We're fine.
She's cute, if that means anything.
She's fluffy and licky. And, no, but so, just being in the Facebook group and getting to actually interact with, people that I met for real life. And that was one of the reasons I didn't say a lot before, because I in the past, and I'm not, I've built relationships and community just online before. And it was... When you get into really personal things and we start talking about how like my life has actually changed and stuff, sometimes that got a little bit weird, maybe just because you couldn't communicate what you wanted to. And so this time around, I wanted to really back off and just watch people, men and women, and see who they are for a while. And I noticed a common thread between everybody, and there's a very wise man that has said, give people enough time and they'll show you who they are. And there was, I'm not saying that I expected anything to be like off with anybody, but I watched for a while. And it was really great to be able to go to Solar Return. And it was a fun time because I found me. I found who I want to be. And I realized it's who I always was. I just had to keep stripping stories off. Like, I am the confused 6-year-old. Yeah, the heart, the drive, everything that was then is now. And I'm coming back to that. And it was awesome. I'm like, I'm just going to be me.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like the whole... like, what's in the name? You know, like a lot of people. What's with Skow? What's with the stupid name? And part of it was, it's... When I got to be me at Solar Return, and then things happened. I mean, that name is built off of stories. So many different stories. And it means so many different things. So I do feel like, even now, I kind of feel like I operate in two worlds sometimes. You know, there's the all caps name that y'all don't know. And then there's Skow. And if I'm being honest, you've got the more real version.
Yeah.
It's that. Now, if there's people that are like, but I need to know your story. Have you ever been a bad guy? Have you ever done bad things? I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I have played a ton of characters in this play.
Yeah.
And I can find some now where I'm the devil. I could call him for you.
Yeah.
I can find one where I've been a hero. I'm a father. I'm a disappointing son. I'm a redeemed son. I'm all of these different things. And what I love about what we're doing here, and not just with the podcast, and not just with meeting people, but what it really comes down to for me is like, I'm being me. And that might look weird. And that might be like, man, that guy talks a lot about synchronicity, that's odd. Or whatever. But what I
do feel a little silly talking about the woo stuff. The woo stuff comes up for me like you were talking about Solar Return. Mm-hmm. For me, it was about, because it was like that cutoff where we weren't allowed to be around people, stay 6 feet away, blah, blah, blah. And then there was this period where you weren't even near people. And then to be around that many people that you could be near and hug and shake hands and talk and look into their eyes and face and be near. Oh, God. There is something to that is it's undescribable. Yeah. The music piece of it just makes it like extra magical, you know, and the songs and the words and the meanings of the people that actually performed there and the heart that went into it, powerful.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was fantastic. I was blown away. Like, when I saw the music piece, I was like, you got to be effing kidding me. Are you serious? This is what we're getting? Like, and it was insane.
I'm like, I can't come here once a year. That was my big thing.
Well, why not?
Because I already have a place I like to go once a year. And actually, if you look on your screen right now, you'll see where that is. It's important to me to get out to see my family, and there's certain spots that I've been to with my father so many times that I need to go back once in a while. So I like to go once a year, and if not more often. And then there's like other trips we'd like to take, and then there's a run out of the vacation fund and the vacation time at work and all that other stuff. It's difficult to say I could go every time. I want to, believe me, like, oh,
yeah.
Part of me is like, keep the dream alive a little bit, but I want that here. Why can't I have that every week? Why can't I have people in my life like that here? Now. And I do now. Yeah. And it's been awesome. So yes, we had our get together last week, which was awesome.
It was.
We're going to do it again next week, and we were going to talk about the things that we liked about that. So do you want to go first?
When we got to the park, and it was just like kind of us hanging out. There was a point where I was standing there, and I saw. I think it's when everybody was doing the hugs, and I was like, huh. I'm like, this is very interesting. People that I don't know are coming together, and like, holy shit, we did it. Like, it's happening. You know, like when we started this, you're like, how are we ever gonna get anybody? And but I also I've also known, like. I feel like I can feel the end of this story already, and so I knew it was coming. But there was something about when Sam opened his mouth, and he said hello or whatever, but with that accent, and it was like
it was so fun.
It was like getting hit in the face with a tuna fish or something, like like those funny videos when someone gets smashed, or like with a big salmon or something. Just hit me. I was like, and I had to process it, and I was like, give me just a minute, because Sparks is hugging Sam, and I call her Sparks. She's Jenny to y'all. That's my thing. You can call her Spark if you want. Sparks is
Spark.
mine.
Yeah.
And that's because of solar return.
Multiple Sparks were all together that day. Yes.
Yes, but
Maybe it should be.
you choose. I still think it's better, but I like it as a pet name for me because then I get to just be the possessive asshole in a way. Just a little bit. I gotta have some attachments. No, I'm just teasing. But I was just like, I just started going through everything in my mind, and I'm like, how did he get here? And I was like, wow, because we talked to a man in the UK who happened to be related to a man here, and I'm beyond being like, wow, that's synchronistic, or wow, that's neat. I'm like, yup, that's just the way it is. It's just happening. And it was funny because right at that time, as I'm having this moment, my phone vibrates in my pocket. And I look at it, and there's a text from someone else that I haven't talked to about talking about it, so I'm not going to use their name right now. But they're just like, I sent out the invite, and then didn't hear anything at all. And they weren't able to come to the first one. And it's, you get a new group of people. You don't know if people are in or whatever. And if they don't say anything.
I invited a couple people that, didn't come. So that's fine.
Yeah. And it was just like, we're almost there.
Yeah.
And it was right at that point where I already was kind of in awe. And I was just like, holy crap, they're coming. And then it turned into just a really beautiful day where there's 6 adults sitting there, kids running around at the park, and just playing, and everybody's getting along, and it was just, the discussion kind of fell into natural groups, and I don't know, I'm guessing that where you ended up was probably perfect for what you needed, and where I ended up with was perfect for where I needed, because I felt like I was able to, like I was given an experience and an interaction that I've been looking for and waiting for a long time, and I knew I would recognize it. Because of a feeling. It was just something that I knew would happen. And as we just sat there and kind of progressed through the conversation, once again, I haven't talked to the other person about this again, but there was a whole lot of, are you kidding? No, I'm just back and forth. And it's like, there was 2 very significant moments of like looking at someone and just being like, really? Because everything, hey, pup. But and so there was just so much validation there of like, yeah, we're on the path, we're doing the right thing. And it's funny because I would think like in the past I'd be like, hey, this is happening, what do I have to do to make it keep happening? Yeah. What am I supposed to do? I gotta make phone calls? Am I supposed to like plan? What do I gotta do? But it's the opposite. What's happening is the more things happen, the more relaxed I get and the less I try. And that's just how I process it, because and yesterday the boys and I, we even had some experiences where we played it. I was in a situation and I wanted to pursue it farther, but I purposely turned and walked away and went somewhere else and gave time. It had to do with meeting a family and talking to them, and I left them just to see if they'd come back. And it wasn't just once; it was twice. In that, like, we saw this family. I went and picked up my kids to come back to talk to them. They were still there a half hour later. We talked to them. It was really a neat interaction. And then we left, and I took the boys to the park where we're going to be going. And when we parked and opened the door, they were parked next to us.
Oh, awesome.
And just weird little things. They were from Romania. The language barrier was really bad. We were really struggling. Yeah. And one of the things, it was a man and his wife and 3 young children, 3 daughters. And as we're going through the conversation, and he kept just saying, like, you're a good man. Like, we were just trying to come up with good words, and I'm like, God, and he's like, yes. And he's like, you're a good man. And at one point he took it, and I can't show you, it's just the way he did it. He took 2 hands, like, very caring, like, very gently. It was a very distinct motion. And he pointed to the youngest child that was sitting there playing. And this is funny if you've never seen my sons. If you saw the video of my son getting not going to school anymore, you can see they have very long hair.
Yeah.
They always have. I have long hair. We just do. I don't know why. I don't know why I've changed my look over the last year, but I always felt like it was for a purpose. Or it just was supposed to be. I look in the mirror, I'm like, I'm almost me. So he's got his hands pointing to his child, and he goes, "Is boy." And I'm like, I don't know what you just said. And he's like, "Is boy." And then it hit me, and I'm like, oh, you're telling me that what I assumed your youngest daughter there with the beautiful hair, with the ringlets and the long hair and everything, is actually a boy. And he was pointing out that there was a connection between us because he's like, his boy, and then he looks at my one son and he's like, his boy, and it was, I know it's a silly thing.
Yeah.
But like I just got done I was just on a walk with my friend, and she went to tell me a story, and she started out by saying, this is just a silly thing, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But she told me the story of like connection that moved her, and it was something that didn't ever come to any kind of fruition, but in that moment she can look at it and she can be like, I had like a really awesome 3-minute friend, and I think they did too.
Yeah.
So it was just, I don't want to say like I'm getting into the woo, but maybe I am, but I'm just acknowledging, I'm saying, you know what, Dad, God, whatever, I still don't know what it is, it still doesn't talk to me. That's what's funny. I don't know what God sounds like. I don't know how to hear God. But if I look around me, just from how I feel and how I want to feel, I see it everywhere, and I see it in pushing us into relationship or into connection, and it can be a very small one. The connection that I'm referring to that I had could be the only time that I ever engage in conversation with this person, but it was also something that I've been anticipating. Like I knew what it would feel like. I knew what it would, the subject areas that would come up, because I have a very unique perspective and problem or whatever that I'm coming from. I can't even go to people that have a similar background as me and ask it. This person already, it's like we're tied into a different library. Right. When we use language, we're talking like people around us have no idea what we're saying, and it's just not just because of the unique situation we're in, but because some of the weird.
So, would you say that's like a kindred spirit almost?
I
like that term.
Yeah,
I like that term, kindred spirit.
So
it's just kind of someone that like you see out there in the world, and they like understand things that other people wouldn't, and they link into information that aligns with where you're at.
I would say the nature of your question, the answer is yes. And it's not that this person understood me.
Yeah.
They know where I'm coming from.
Right.
And I knew that they knew. It's a weird. It's felt. I think I might have mentioned to you in the past. Like I felt like I had an open, outgoing phone call ringing for the past like year or two, and not just in that like I'm lonely, sad, desperation way.
Yeah.
It's a physical thing. Like I feel like it's like a swelling of the heart. Like when you hold your baby or whatever for the first time, just that like that deep inside you. And I just felt like it's been going now at Solar Return. I was aware of that, and I had to turn that thing off because every person I looked at would engage in conversation with you for a long time, and sometimes you just have to pee.
You got overwhelmed too at times, and I did. I did. Where like you had to walk away for a little bit. I definitely get the overwhelm, but yeah, I've had an open call out there for some time, and I'll speak with people about that. I've told people about that, and at Solar Return, it was so activated that I almost was like on overload. Mm-hmm. And just having you around, for me, like the events that we do, if it was just you and me and the kids, I wouldn't be like sad. It would be cool. When we went to that Mexican restaurant, and it was so fun with just the boys, and we went inside with no masks when there was masks everywhere, and everybody was doing the masks, and you even messaged the owner or whoever runs their media page and said, hey, are we cool?
I did. That was funny. Who's my room?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just want to say, it was funny because I did. I messaged him, and I was like, I guess the story is that it was a little Mexican restaurant, kind of hole in the wall, and they were going out of business, right?
Yeah.
That's actually...
This was really the first time our boys met each other.
That's true. Mm-hmm. It is. And I just felt bad because I was like, man, they're going out of business, and a lot of this isn't right, and I'm sure it's because it has to do with a lot of this. So I did. I messaged him, and I was like, hey, there's a couple of us who'd like to come and support you, or really, whatever. do we have to wear a mask? And he just messaged me back, and granted, they're going out of business and stuff, but I loved his response because he's like, sure, I don't give a fuck if you wear a mask or not. And it was just, I was like, cool. Yeah. And then when we were checking in before, I think everybody had ordered or whatever.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, hey, who runs your social media stuff? And he's like, why? And I'm like, I sent a message and I need to know who sent it to me, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, that'd be me. And so then I told him, I was like, because I thought he might have thought like maybe it was rude or whatever, but I was like, hey, I totally appreciate that. And then I tipped him some money, and he was just like, oh, wow, thanks. And it was just really great to be able to know they're out there and say, hey, thanks, you know.
Let them know you appreciate it. There's a business over here that's been decent about the masks, and I'm try to go there all the time. I'm like, let's keep going, because even now that you can get away with not wearing a mask everywhere, I feel like it's important to support them because they supported me when there was only maybe one time when they were talking about trying to turn me away, but they didn't want to. You could tell they were doing it because they were getting so much pressure, and they immediately let it up. And then it was like 50-50. Even when other places were 100%, they were 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'd let you in. They didn't care. So support them for sure. Make it happen. I mean, there's definitely like, you can yell at the people who don't let you in or try to file things against them or get mad or whatever. My point is, take the people who don't, who do support you and who are local and who can meet you and care about you, and support the hell out of them. You know.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that. That's the way that I try to look at it too. I'm over being mad. Like I'm not like not
I'm
like,
still mad,
and I'm not like to the where I say like I got to the point where I was so mad I'm just not mad anymore. I'm like, I see it now, especially when I look at how, because it's easy to look at this situation and say like I was living my life and everything was great, and something hijacked it and has destroyed my path. But what I've really realized, especially with just personally having something that is probably 35 years old, that's something that I've been aware of and has been an issue or a topic or subject area of, I don't know how I'm ever going to address this situation. I have 3 of them. Last week, all of them were. And so I mean, I'm reeling in shock. Today I woke up and I was walking around outside and I was in the mindset of how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And I had to stop and be like, oh, it's done. So it's hard for me. And then, like I said, the synchronicity and meeting people and asking for weird stuff. Like, hey, my boys, let's see if we can ask for this weird manifestation way to help somebody. And it happens, you know. Granted, are we just making it happen? Maybe. We're looking for it. Perhaps. I'm just full of BS. It's fine. But as I look through all that and I see what happened to me, the conversations that I have had with family members that, like, I shouldn't be able to have, reconciliations that shouldn't happen, I have to sit back and I have to say, this was all set up for me. And it happened during all this madness. So I'm like, all right, madness is no fun, but it's part of the path. It's not a disruption to my path. It's here. This is it, you know? And so I'm so grateful for like this, for sitting with you. I'm so grateful that I can sit down and just talk about my experience with my son and my feelings as I want to. You know, there's a lot of people, you can look at that a lot of different ways. People can tear me apart for whatever reason. Well, you have a son that still wears a mask and you're telling us this? Yes, that's his path. So it's nice to be able to sit down and put it out and just throw it out. And I don't care.
So you're saying that because, and if people haven't seen, you did a video on the one son who is not, he left school.
He in the middle of the day. He stood up in front of everyone, you know, and he was very, very respectful and very kind, and he had a very respectful and kind interaction with the dean. And yeah, what happened was
the story made me cry. I just want to say it was powerful. Yeah, it was great.
It made my son cry. It's
made my day.
That video,
my week. Yeah, it was good.
But just so you know, there's a couple of things in that video that the right person is going to see.
Yeah.
Give me a call. It's just, but it was an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to take a break? We're at your time.
Yeah.
Should we do
30
that?
minutes. We'll do a song. We're going to do Conspiracy Music Guru.
Yeah.
Don't let them take your mind. Don't let them.
Let's do that. That's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we all believed in that spinning ball. Indoctrination blinded us all. From the very first day that we went to school, they put a globe in your face and that thing looked cool. The teacher explained how it all worked. Of course it sounded so berserk, but who was I to question it? Because I was just a tiny kid. It sounded crazy as could be, but teacher would never lie to me. She was real nice, she didn't know. She too was taught to believe in that globe. I don't blame her, it wasn't her fault. She was only repeating what she'd been taught. I went through life believing that lie. That spinning ball was now in my mind.
Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man.
Don't let them tell you that you are not divine.
Don't let them do it, man, no.
Take control of your soul.
Take back control. Yeah.
Find the truth. Find it all.
Find it all, man. Yeah.
Don't believe their lies.
Don't believe it, man.
Let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man. Alright, man, listen up. So I'm hurling through space on a road to nowhere. So I live my life without a care, cause I was taught that there ain't no creator. That's what I was told from my educator. So I live my life so selfishly, there ain't gonna be no hell for me. I'll do what I want with no care for others, with no respect for my brothers. Until one day when I woke up and I drank some truth with my coffee cup. I learned that things ain't what they seem. This so-called reality is just a dream. There's deception everywhere that I look. The news, the TV, and in my school books. And pretty soon I'll realize that everything's just a pack of lies, man.
Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man.
Don't let them tell you that you are not divine.
Don't let them do it, man, no.
Take control of your soul.
Take back control. Yeah.
Find the truth. Find it all.
Find it all, man. Yeah.
Don't believe their lies.
Believe it, man.
Let them take your mind.
Let them take your mind, man. Yeah, man. It's deception on a biblical level. It's orchestrated by the devil. Many think that hate don't exist, but that's what he wants. That's one of his tricks. But I found out that dude's real. And I tell you, man, that's a bitter pill. So I questioned everything I was told. I had to question that spinning globe. I had to relearn it all again and get some truth inside this brain. And pretty soon I realized that the globe I was taught was a pack of lies. So I studied as hard as can be. I found the flat earth conspiracy. Man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. The globe I was taught was a devil's trick.
Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man.
Don't let them tell you that you are not divine.
Don't let them do it, man. No.
Take control of your soul.
Take back control. Yeah.
Find the truth. Find it all.
Find it all, man. Yeah.
Don't believe
started to connect the dots, and I'm telling you, man, there are lots. I soon realized that the earth was flat. It's not a belief, man, it's a fact. And once I found out that reality, well, it did a funny thing to me. For a while there, I was pretty shocked, but now I know that there's a God. And once you get to that point of understanding, and once you know there ain't no moon landing, and once you know that space is fake, you view your life with a different take. It ain't just random chance that we're here. We ain't living on no stupid sphere. It ain't some ridiculous spinning ball. The earth is flat, and God created it all.
Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man.
Don't let them tell you that you are not divine.
Don't let them do it, man. No.
Take control of your soul.
Take back control. Yeah.
Find the truth. Find it all.
Find it all, man. Yeah.
Don't believe their lies.
Believe it, man.
Let them take your mind.
Let them take your mind, man. Well, now I found out about all these lies. I live a completely different life. I stopped reading the news and turned off the TV. That thing is evil as can be. I started being a nicer guy. And God forbid I tell a lie. I treat people with more respect, and I've got me a wife that I'd never neglect. Yeah, being good's working out for me. Now I ain't blinded and I can see. I know that there is a God above, and if I'm good, then he'll show me love. I try to live life selflessly to be the best that I can be. I treat people how I want to be treated since my indoctrination was defeated. So don't believe in the devil's lies because it's God he wants to hide. That's why they teach that spinning ball to make you think you ain't special at all. Don't believe what you're being told. Don't believe that you're evolved. It's all an accident and you are too. No, you're someone special and God made you.
Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man.
Don't let them tell you that you are not divine.
Don't let them do it, no.
Take control of your soul.
You gotta take back control.
Find the truth.
Find the truth.
Find it all.
Find it all, man.
Don't believe their lies.
Don't believe it.
Let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind. Yeah, play that guitar.
All right, awesome song. That was super fun, and you had a great time on break. I want you to tell the story about what happened. You sent me a couple of a picture and a movie.
Pictures, yeah. I went to grab a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And I was at the coffee shop, of course, I guess. And I looked down, and there's a gal on her hands and knees on the floor that works there.
Yeah.
Down by the, all the booths or whatever. And I noticed that she was by the social distancing signs. And she started ripping them up. a piece at a time. So I just went over there and kind of started chatting her up, joking up about it a little bit, telling her she was doing a good job. And I was like, can I make a video of that? Because that's just amazing. It's awesome. She's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And then when I did, I just was like, can I shake your hand? And I haven't had very many people say no. It was just really fun, and I just, when I'm in that situation, I just like to be positive about it. Or really I'm digging and seeing like, okay, where does this person stand?
Yeah.
And
You never know.
yeah, because I want to see, are they going to like, or are they going to keep going? And she jumped right on it,
Yeah.
and she's like, yeah, get rid of all this stuff. And so
Cool.
I did that, and then I walked outside, and I was walking along, I just noticed a gal reading a book. So I was like, hey, you don't see that a whole heck of a lot. Can I ask what book you're reading? And it was Spiritual Stories of Vietnam or something. And I was like, hey. And we ended up just chatting up. And that's one I don't often drop flat earth on people on a first meeting like that. But I was like, I'm never going to see this woman
I never
again.
do.
Yeah,
I've never done that.
I don't do it much, but I would say, like, someone did it to me. And it was that kind of woke me up. I was like, oh, wait, you
can
flat
do that.
smacked me. All right, on a first meeting. You're more in tune than I am. But it was fun because there at the end I was like, what the hell, I'll just throw it on there. So I was like, yeah, we're talking about the Bible. And I just was like, when I read the Bible at the beginning, it sure seems flat and kind of like a terrarium and stuff. And as I just watched, like, the glaze go over, and all of a sudden I wasn't interesting anymore. And she was looking over my head. But no, it ended up being very, very, very nice. Both of them. She shook my hand and everything, and it was really great. And I guess the point with that is, like, it's not that hard. I knocked doors for a religion for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I had scripts that they gave me. I had lessons. I'd gone to training for weeks. Always got what to say. And I've talked to more people about flat earth or shaking hands with strangers or whatever than I ever did in 2 years. And it's easy because I love it, and it's changed my life.
Right.
And that's where
You can tell when you talk to somebody and they're actually excited about whatever it is they're talking about.
yeah. There definitely is excuse me, a resonance there. And that's really, if I'm honest, that's all I'm doing right now is I'm throwing like an energy out or a vibe or whatever, kind of like fishing and being like, does it land? And it's, a lot of times it doesn't. And it used to kind of bug me or whatever. Like, well, I'm sad or whatnot. Am I alone? Now I'm like, I don't care. It's just not you. Because when it hits, it's super great because we just need to be who we are and stand up. And that was a huge theme for me this last week was a lot of the help that I got that I needed that people have no clue they gave to me was because they were being who they are. And it was exactly what I needed to see or to experience or to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Like talking about on break with you about how I rush through things and I get so excited to do the beginning of everything, and I run down the list, and then I'm like, okay, and I don't stop to relax and be in the moment. And one of the things we had brought up was, how we dealt with our kerfuffle this morning, and we didn't go into in depth about that. We talked about, just top level what that scenario was.
We got it right up to the point
really
where
awkward.
anxiety could
Yes.
come, and then we skipped and went somewhere else
Yeah.
when I want to talk about the anxiety.
All right. So it was super awkward because we showed up and this woman said, "Yeah, you don't have an appointment. I don't see you in the."
Got canceled somehow.
Got canceled somehow. It would only be canceled by the person.
So they said. So somehow I canceled it. I don't know.
But
I don't know why I would do that. Get up at 6:30 in the morning and drive
She
an
got
hour.
super awkward and was apologizing like 50 times.
Profusely.
And yeah, it got to be.
I think, didn't I say something at one point where I was like, I think we're okay and done with
Yeah.
apologies now?
I told Bill on the way home, I'm like, even Skow was like, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done apologizing now.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, that's, it is what it is. I understand that
That's
she's
okay.
anxious and
Yeah.
she thinks that we're mad and it has to be a situation. But this is, the way that I come about things, like, this is weird. And I know today didn't look like it because I was with you guys. And so, even though I love you immensely, and I love Bill, and he makes like getting through the TSA super fun. I I still don't know how we're going to react to things, and there's new situations that we have, right?
Yeah.
So we went into a big one where, like,
Yeah.
oh, someone's supposed to organize something and it fell through. So I don't get, like, I when something like that happens, I actually get excited.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, okay, I'm 45 minutes away from home or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What I wanted to do is not happening. And I literally ask, why the hell am I here? And I get excited looking around. And that's when I start doing things like walking around and talking to people, because a lot of times it works.
Yeah, you're further down the line than I am. I struggle quite a bit with the, change in plans. I was, you could tell I was jarred. I was like, no, now I don't know what to do. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what, I mean, you want, tell, share, what's up? How's sports?
It worked out, and I realized that it needed to, and that it was going to be fine, and it's a good lesson for me as far as I was listening to Baldini this morning too, talk about some of the expectation stuff and letting go and just being okay. This is what happened, even though I planned or wanted something else, and now I need to make the most of this rather than spending energy or time being annoyed or anxious or irritated or agitated that it didn't happen the way I wanted it to.
Exactly. You ever find that the things that you parent your children with, like maybe, I don't know about you, but I have things that I'll start to tell them over and over and over or whatever.
It's stuff you need to know.
Yeah, do you ever realize it's actually for you?
Yeah, right.
One of those that I caught on
Instant gratification.
Yeah, one that I got pretty recently, within the last year or so, was the boys we would go to do something and it would fall through and the boys would get disappointed. Mm-hmm. But then we would just pay attention because I'd say, well, let's pretend we're here for a reason. We're supposed to do something else. And that's where we started, like, going into a hamburger shop we didn't plan on being, and it's like, oh, we're just going to burger. By the time we're done, my sons are hugging the lady behind the thing, and she's crying because it's Easter and she can't see her children and they're 300 miles away, and it was just super synchronistic that they were there. And so I got in the habit of telling them, like, disappointment is not your enemy. Disappointment isn't a call for you to be upset and say, okay, now I'm in this state and I'm depressed and sad. Now, disappointment has a certain feeling. Now, this is just how I work with my boys, and it seems to be working for them and for me. Like, those feelings aren't bad. They're just unique. You just associate them with a bad feeling or a bad situation, because that's how it works. That's when they pop up. But I don't accept that we're supposed to wallow in that. I don't accept that, oh, I screwed up, whatever. I really do believe that if you just stop and look, maybe your ass just needed to be somewhere else so that you could do something.
Yeah.
And so I tell them, disappointment really just gives you an opportunity to stop, sit down, and let you know you need to let go of something so that you have room for what you really need or what's more beneficial for you now. Or maybe I just need to be God putting you in a situation so you can meet someone that knows some stuff that they shouldn't know and it's really crazy, as a little wave or whatnot.
And look at this. Now we have a good start, and we can create. I can create videos that you don't have to do all the work on, and we won't have Bill waiting around for quite as long while we try to figure things out, because Baldini helped me last night, you helped me today, and hopefully we can move forward and create these videos and without too many hiccups and too much time and effort. I mean, it does take time and effort, more than I think and more than I believe needs to go into it, and then we start working on it, and I'm like, oh God, so I get now.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that movie, the video, the song didn't start exactly when I thought it was going to. Now I have an hour's worth of work. Yeah.
Clip it out, figure out how. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But very cool.
I love it. I love that what we're doing is not polished, not professional, not any of those things. Because, and I never wanted it to be. And that's why I'll do stupid things like I play music and I just kind of wander around. And it's like walking through a meadow. I'm just walking through my feelings. And it's not organized. It's not a song. It's just sounds. But I'll do something stupid like throw that to a video and post it. Any normal person's going to look at that and be like, this dude is retarded. Like, what's going on? But it's because I'm not trying to make, even now, I'm not trying to make a song. what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to share with you the experience that I have going through, because a lot of times those things are up because all of those sounds are new to me. I don't know scales, and I don't even know what chord I'm playing when I put my fingers in and stuff, but I know how I feel and I know what I'm trying to get to. And so that's what I try to share, and that's what I'm doing.
So you play
Here.
guitar and you don't know the notes?
Yeah, I don't like it. Like I can do a chord, but I don't know. I think I know D. D is the one. I think it's what's straight,
So
like
you
a
just
little
do
triangle.
straight by feel.
Yes, I actually when I get done with what I record, I want you to listen to it because I know it so well that I think I stole it, and I'm not sure if I have. I might have. It might be just snippets of like the Love Boat and different. I don't know, but it's so clear within my. And it's not even that like I can. It's not like I can hum it. Yeah. But it's like I can feel it. Like I just wander through it, and then when the next sound isn't right, then I literally just sit there and dick with my fingers, like move them all around and over and over until I find it. And then I'm like, oh, I met you. And so that, everything I do, that's how I do. And like I refuse to do, I mean, we have Jason Gay as our friend. I could call him up and be like, dude, I will do some tutorials online. Let's work some stuff out. You can help me out, right? He could really
Teach you how to actually.
a lot. But I don't want to play Jason Gay's music. I don't want to even, right now, I don't want to know that this is a C and this is a G and then you're always going to resolve to this and you're going to go to that. Like, all of that to me is, it's someone else's. I use tarot, I use astrology, I use all alchemy, all of these different things, but I don't subscribe to one. And it's kind of like the same thing. Like if I need to know a little bit, like how can I do a different style of guitar or something, I'll look it up and I'll watch. I'm kind of an asshole. I want to do it on my own, you know? So, that's
It
why
worked. You did. That's why I'm asking, because you put together music for our first show and it worked great. And I didn't know that you didn't know.
I don't know anything.
Like notes or whatever, like how to put your hand in different positions to make
Nope.
the precise.
Not by saying like if you're like play a D major.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
If you say play me like a sad progression or show me, like what I'll do is I'll play a melody kind of thing for a while and I'll get used to it so I know the notes, but then I'll say, okay, it'll move into like, okay, now it's sad and it's pensive and
So,
now it's happy. And I just mess with it.
Yeah,
I
like
do
when
it through life.
Baldini Noodles. I think he
Yeah.
doesn't write that stuff. He just plays by the feel and whatnot. That's
Yeah.
cool.
But I think life's like that. And that's where you know what I love about us? 'Cause we're different.
Oh yeah.
Like you are more like, I need to know all the, what are all the scales? What language is that one in? No, they're very methodical.
So yes, methodical. That's what
Yeah.
You're
And I'm like,
a linear learner,
there you go.
circular learner. You're probably a circular learner, right? You just grab from wherever and just put it together, right?
Exactly.
You're on chapter 27. You haven't read 1 through 26. But
I don't
you
need those
needed-
because
yeah.
what I needed was in 27. And yeah, exactly. But I love that
Yeah.
because it's just like with my children. My wife is extremely different than me. I could force them to be like me. She could force them to be like her. We could lament the fact that we see things so differently. To the point sometimes where we can't do things together. What we found very recently, though, is, and this actually I had a really interesting conversation about boundaries with a new friend, where we sat down and were like, hey, we need to kind of, what's going on here? You know, and we were just like, do you think you could ever get them together in this situation? Nope, that's not going to work for me. Cool. And it was awesome because you could look at it and say it feels restrictive. Like, oh, I wish I could hang out with this person, but I can't because of whatever. Or I can look at it and say, all right, I think either we put something together, someone else did, and these boundaries here are intentional. And
What's
so we're
cool
going to go
about
through
it
that.
is that you know it, right? So now
We got to talk about it.
you
I
don't
never
need
got to talk about it.
You don't need to wonder why is she ghosting me on this or doing this on that or whatever. Like she just said straight out, this is it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's it,
And I
Same for you.
Yeah, I was able to do that too, and it was awesome to be able to say that because I can be like, I mean, as you notice, I'm starting to get hard to get a hold of on the phone,
Yeah.
Things are happening. Like, I'm leaving the house and just forgetting my phone.
Yeah.
And so I have to tell, like, you know what? You might send me a text and I might not respond for like 3 days.
Yeah.
But there's just something about that sitting down and being authentic and just being honest. I've had that conversation a lot. I'm like, just tell me. If you don't want to do something, just say no. Don't, like, try to not hurt my feelings and say maybe.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, just be honest and authentic. You're not gonna break me.
And we try to communicate throughout the week and whatever else, but when we're in person, we can definitely communicate easier. It's a lot easier to figure out what's going on.
I think that's another thing is I'm so, like, texting and stuff, it's so inefficient. In the first place, words are not my preferred method of communication, and I know that's weird, but, like, I don't operate by words.
Yeah.
I am feelings and, like, intent.
Yeah.
But then I have to have all these feelings, and now I have to use someone else's structured words and say, it's a big puzzle to put it together, and really all I'm doing is I'm giving you a scaffolding. It's not even the case. That's why if you see me, if I write something, it's huge.
I'm so amazed. Yeah, I look at like some of the, he made a post, and I'll start reading, and then I'll go like read more, and then I'll click down and be like super long, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're reading a lot here. Do I have time for this?
See, and I love that. And do you know what I love? My favorite thing about that is people don't.
Yeah.
They don't read it. I know that.
Yeah.
But it's not for them because, and now I'm super convinced because it happened, where I'm like, there's people that can see some other things. So I do general connection.
Yeah.
But I'm looking. I have a weird path.
I try to read all your stuff, to be honest.
I appreciate that. No, I do, but it doesn't hurt my feelings if I do. Like if I go into analytics for Google and it's like 65% of the people only watch the first 45 seconds. I'm like, thank God. No, this experience is fun and weird, and I have a tendency to look at people, especially if they're on the internet, and I just look up to them, right? And just admire them. But then, in my mind, it's very unfair, but I'll be like, wow, they've really got their shit together. And I kind of would have a tendency, if I let myself go, to put them on a pedestal, be like, well, I wonder what it's like to not have to wipe your ass. And, it's like, your life is great. You're doing all this work and this research, and you put things out, and it's wonderful, and they are. And but what I don't want to do is lose the fact that they're like us.
Well, I don't think anybody that's in the position that we're in, that's speaking the way that we are, hasn't gone through the shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've gone through the shit, the hard shit, and it's, most of the people I've listened to, I'm pretty sure they came out the other end a bit stronger and wiser, and that's why they're speaking. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's wonderful. We have, and I just like my experience is like I'm doing it real time. That's one of the reasons I do like the way that like I make videos a little bit different, and I like that we do it different. You're more like, hey, I want to have this when we get done. I'm gonna hit stop, upload, right?
Yep.
And for
it's
me,
gonna adhere to this, and it's gonna be this structure, and like, yeah.
And the world needs that, and I need that in my life.
Yeah.
I need more of that because I am like, oh, we were gonna fly to Atlanta, now the planes. I guess we're whatever. I guess we're in Georgia now. It's like, and we're just gonna live here. We can't do both. But
You
we
do
can,
get off on the loop. Sometimes we are nearing the end there. 20 minutes, I think we were shooting for.
Oh,
for
okay.
the
I guess
show.
we're done.
Yeah, we're close to the end.
Okay.
So we'll give a little bit of a teaser for the Man Candy show in 2 weeks. We're going to do the float with Bill, and I'm super excited about that. And talking about gratitude for the entire episode, the number one person I have to give gratitude to, obviously, is my partner, Bill, who I couldn't do anything without, and has been an awesome support. And we're going to do the meetup then, too, at Antlers Park. You're going to describe the park for us.
Yeah, Antlers Park is on Lake Marion in Lakeville, Minnesota. There is a nice sandy beach. There's a playground. There's restrooms. There's tons of field space with lots of big trees and shade. Kids can play in the water. It's got a nice swimming area. It's roped off. It goes everywhere from like a couple of inches to where the big kids can whatever. We will, like, my boys will be there. They love hanging out with your boys. That's
Yeah.
one thing we
Oh
did
my
want to
God.
mention about, like, things that your boys are having fun.
Oh my God, yeah, Booney. He had told me like 2 or 3 times, I think, how much fun he had hanging out with your boys. He loved it.
Yeah, and they love hanging out with them. And so bring your children. They
Saturday
can-
the 12th,
Yep. Saturday the 12th, what's it, 10:30, 11?
11 a.m. Yeah,
11 a.m.?
We're gonna shoot for 11. We could, I don't know if you're gonna try to. Are you shooting for 11? Does that work for you?
It works for me. I'll probably be
Okay.
there earlier or later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I won't be there
A little
later.
bit early.
It's very
I
close to
might
me.
be there 5 minutes late.
That'll be a fun one because I can
I'll
I
have
can
to
walk
find
there
a
in
new
about 5 minutes.
place too. Yeah.
Just okay. So there is now. Here's the thing. There's a potential to be a whole lot of people there.
Yeah.
I was there yesterday. There's a couple hundred people.
Yeah.
There is enough space though. We'll be able to find a spot. I personally am okay with there being other people there because I'm like they'll see us. So I'm gonna have a sign up.
Yeah, you're gonna put the sign. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a sign. It'll probably just be a little sign, but
Sweet.
and I'm not trying to get people to come over. But if they do, like this is weird.
Hey.
What's going on?
What's the sign gonna say?
I don't know. I haven't come up with anything yet.
Wonderful.
So
I love
are
it.
you gonna? Oh, do you have an idea?
No, I love that you know that you're gonna have a sign and you're not sure.
I
what
bought
it's
little
gonna be. It's
supplies. And
awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's me. See, I do stuff
Yeah.
and I don't know because
Yeah.
I had another conversation about procrastinating with this same person. I
Oh.
procrastinate a lot, but it's because I don't know everything yet. So I don't know.
So we're gonna. Do you have anything more to say?
No, it'll be really great. If you're thinking of coming and you have children and you're like, I don't know if they're gonna get along with the other boys and girls or if they're gonna whatever, but or who's gonna watch my children, they'll be taken care of. Like they're gonna have a good time. My boys just they don't care how old they are. They're gonna hang out with them. They're gonna play. Mine
Yeah,
are
I play
11
with
and
my
13,
3-year-old. Yeah.
and they love it.
Yeah, they took him off and to the other park and just hung out for a while and ran him down and got him tired and it
Yep.
worked out great. We're gonna end then on the kick butt song.
Oh, bring your swimsuits.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first. Unfortunately,
Because of you, we're in this mess. Forever you will acquiesce. How you love to be deceived. Whatever they tell you, you believe. Dead of sight, dead of mind. News believer, you are blind. Critical thinker, you are not. Never independent thought. Busting through your paradigm. Hypnotized with pantomime. Regurgitating all you hear. Spread your terror, spread your fear. Never your mind to be free. Never your eyes will ever see. Lace the boon of tyranny, begging for your slavery. They who have remote control, the keys know your very soul. Tune into the great deceiver, television watching news believer. Inject your poison, wear your mask. All they have to do is ask. Never questioning authority.
be free. Never your eyes will ever see. Let the brood of tyranny begging for your slavery. Stay out remote control. Let's teach your merit soul. Tune into the great receiver. Television watching news believer. To be free, yeah. Never your mind to be free. Never your eyes will ever see. Let the brood of tyranny begging for your slavery. Stay out remote control. Let's teach your merit soul. Tune into the great receiver. Television watching news believer. Never your mind to be free. Never your eyes will ever see. Let the brood of tyranny begging for your slavery. Stay out remote control. Let's teach your merit soul. Tune into the great receiver. Television watching news believer.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely